Tonight, we start off by taking a look at A-Day and the SGA involvement updates. Then, we'll inform you about a PR student getting her dream job thanks to career services, as well as the new game room in the Student Center. We'll also take a look nationally by updating you on Russia and China meeting to discuss the war in Ukraine and President Trump to be indicted. Finally, you'll get an Auburn sports update and Pet of the Week. All of that and more is coming up next on Eagle Eye's Monday News at 6. Good evening, and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Maddie Larkin.
And I'm Payne.
We've got a full A-Day weekend coming up for y'all from April 6th to the 8th. We'll start out on Thursday the 6th with the Auburn baseball team hosting Texas A&M at Plainsman Park at 7 p.m. Then they'll wrap up the three-game series against A&M at Saturday at 3:30. They'll be honoring National Baseball Hall of Famer Frank Thomas with a statue unveiling ceremony outside the park at 10 a.m. on Saturday. The next day at 3 p.m., the Auburn men's tennis team will be hosting Arkansas at the Yarborough Tennis Center. Finally, Saturday is the annual A-Day spring football game at 1 p.m. at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Tickets are currently on sale through the Auburn Ticket Office. General public tickets are $10 and current AU students are free. Make sure to purchase your tickets in advance to avoid waiting in line on April 8th.
Now we'll turn to Julian Lozano, the Auburn SGA Vice President, for our weekly update on what the Student Senate is working to improve on Auburn's campus. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Julianne Lozano and I serve as the Vice President of SGA. This week at Senate, the individual colleges gave their reports, which occurs bi-weekly. Next Thursday, March 23rd from 11 to 2 on the Student Center Green Space, the College of Agriculture is hosting Beyond the Farm National Agriculture Week. Additionally, this is the same day that Freshman Forum is hosting their annual event on Cater Lawn from 1 to 11 with food trucks. Following the college reports, legislation was voted on and passed on the floor. This piece of legislation created an additional Friend for Obby and altered the qualifications to be eligible to try out for a Friend of Obby. This is an exciting addition for the Obby program, and we're looking forward to see what they can accomplish this year.
Searching for some fun campus activities this week? Well, look no further. Involvement Ambassador Clay Gibson is here to give you the scoop on all the activities and events you can get involved with on campus.
How are you guys? My name is Clay Gibson and I'm here with your involvement update. Application season is here. ISO Executive Board and Cabinet applications close Tuesday, March 21st at 4:45 p.m. SGA Cabinet applications will close Thursday at 4:45 p.m. Impact Project Coordinator applications are open now. AU Involve has every application listed, so be sure to check out organizations' pages and social media for updates. Next up is that UPC has lots of fun events planned this week. On Tuesday, March 21st, they are hosting a movie night in Dudley B6 at 7 p.m. where they will be playing Crazy Rich Asians. Thursday, March 23rd, there will be a UPC Tiger Nights pop-up on the second floor of the Melton Student Center at 8 p.m. There will be a UPC game night in the Student Center's new first floor game room on Friday at 5 p.m. And on Saturday, March 25th, UPC's spring concert will be on Cater Lawn starting at 8 p.m. My last update for today is to be sure to check out Organization Days on Haley Concourse every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to stay up to date on ways you can get involved throughout the semester. And just as a reminder, AU Involve has information about everything going on around campus, so I encourage y'all to check that out for more involvement opportunities. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to an involvement ambassador at involve@auburn.edu. Thanks guys, and War Eagle.
When we return from this short break, we'll tell you all about a PR student getting her dream job thanks to career services. Then you'll hear about the new game room in the Student Center. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Auburn University's Career Services is always a big suggestion to students on Auburn's campus and might be something you've utilized yourself. Public Relations Senior Maddie is a perfect example of how beneficial this resource can be. After attending a Lunch and Learn Hire event that Career Services staff encouraged her to attend, she listened to Auburn alumnus Vince Thompson-Melt, CEO, speak about his career. After attending this event, she knew she wanted to pursue a career at this Atlanta-based full-service sports marketing agency. agency. When asked about career services assistance in her job search, Whitney said she knew that she needed to use every possible resource here at Auburn. She knew that she loved sports, but wasn't sure how to pursue a career in it until listening to Vince discuss his own career. She also used career coaching and development in order to be connected with internships and job placement opportunities. Career Services eventually was able to send her resume to Melt's managers and got her involved with the tip-off at Toomer's event, where Melt asked her to join their team as a part-time contractor. After some time working with their team, she was eventually offered a full-time job after graduation. All students are advised to take advantage of Career Services and get involved on Auburn's campus.
You might have noticed a cool new addition to the first floor of the Melton Student Center. Last Wednesday, March 15th, a state-of-the-art game room was unveiled for student use. Eagle Eye reporter Scott Key gives us a look at the new facility.
On Wednesday, Auburn University finally unveiled its newest addition, the Student Center Game Room. Students and staff alike showed up to get a peek at what all the game room has to offer, including rows of individual monitors for solo gaming, retro-style arcade cabinets and couch co-op for head-to-head competitions, and even live streaming spaces for those who want to show off their gameplay to the world. Even Abby was there to check out everything they had going on, and to help guide him and others through the facility, the Auburn University esports team was there to explain how the facility will work. Altogether, the game room seems to be an exciting addition to the Auburn campus.
The month of March is known as Social Work Month, and this year's theme is Social Work Breaks Boundaries. The Auburn University Master of Social Work, or MSW program, works to help our nation in overcoming challenges such as economic inequality, racism, natural disasters, and mental health crises. Unfortunately, the state of Alabama is currently experiencing a shortage of professional social workers, so it is important to discuss the importance of the profession. Those who are interested should have a strong desire to assist those in need and make our communities, our nation, and our world a better place for all. Auburn University works to prepare students for advanced clinical social work practice with a focus on the areas of health and mental health, along with health disparities, prevention, and policy.
College of Liberal Arts alumni Cole Kublick, Don Davenport, and Taylor Davis made history on March 5th when they became the first trio from the same university to call the same football game. Kublick played center and was a football team captain who graduated in 2001 with a degree in Communications and Media Studies and has been with ESPN since 2011. Davenport played volleyball at Auburn and is a 2002 honors graduate who holds a master's degree in Mass Communication/Radio, Television, and Film. Davis earned her broadcast journalism degree in 2014. The three alumni made up on the ESPN2 broadcast team for the XFL game between San Antonio and Houston, setting a new standard for the number of alumni from one school to work the same telecast. When we come back, we'll inform you of Russia and China meeting to discuss the war in Ukraine and President Trump to be indicted. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
In a high-stakes visit, Russian President Vladimir Putin welcomed Chinese President Xi Jinping to the Kremlin Monday to discuss China's proposal for resolving the crisis in Ukraine. This all comes as the U.S. announced another $350 million in security assistance for Ukraine on Monday. Chris McGugan has more from Washington.
The meeting of two friends, both set up to be leaders for life, showing off their vision of a post-American world order. The pomp and circumstance, a credibility boost for Russian leader Vladimir Putin, displaying that he's got a powerful friend in Chinese leader Xi Jinping, even as the International Criminal Court has a warrant for his arrest for committing war crimes and allegedly shipping Ukrainian children to Russia, and even as the West isolates him amid his stalled invasion of Ukraine. Both Xi and Putin writing glowing op-eds about their countries' relations, Xi calling their relationship an eternal friendship, Putin saying the two are standing shoulder to shoulder against America's increasingly aggressive efforts to deter Russia and China. Xi Jinping is trying to walk a delicate line, so far stopping short of providing lethal aid to Russia, though the U.S. says he may be considering it, while also refusing to condemn the invasion. Meanwhile, Beijing is also taking advantage of Russia's isolation. Trade between the two nations jumped to $190 billion last year, an increase of 30% from 2021, undercutting the impact of U.S.-led sanctions, as Chinese companies snap up cheap energy from Russia, giving the Kremlin key funds to finance the invasion. But Beijing wants the world to focus less on their friendship and more on Xi's role as a global statesman who can broker peace deals, like the historic deal he helped forge to restore relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
I've been talking to people in this Hutong, this old Beijing residential alley, to get a sense of what Chinese people think about Xi Jinping's visit.
This man tells me Xi's visit is good because it can further improve China-Russia relations. He says he likes Putin a lot because he's a cool, tough guy. On the Ukraine war, he says he just hopes everyone can have a peaceful relationship. This woman tells me she hopes Russia wins the war, but peace is best. Another woman says the war and loss of life is heartbreaking and painful to watch. She says it's wrong for America to send weapons to Ukraine, and she believes in Xi Jinping's vision of world peace. When I ask her what she thinks of Putin, she answers that he's righteous, decisive, swift, and tough. But when I follow up and ask if she's heard of the ICC issuing an arrest warrant for Putin, she responds, "I didn't know. He started the war after all. He should sit down with Zelensky and talk." This shoe repairman says, why are they fighting? It doesn't do anybody good. But we don't know who started the war, he adds. It's the Ukrainians, right? She doesn't need to convince the audience in China, where media is heavily censored, of the merits of his tight bond with Putin. But the rest of the world is watching to see what comes of Beijing's claims of neutrality.
For the first time in history, a former president of the United States may be indicted for a crime. As a grand jury investigation into crimes alleged to have been committed by Donald Trump is set to end, the former president is bracing for possible arrest, while law enforcement at every level prepares for the protests that could likely follow.
And all morning here outside of Manhattan Criminal Court, we have been watching the NYPD bring in some barricades and install a security camera at one point this morning, all in preparation for the possible arrest and indictment of former President Donald Trump, who said that he expects to be arrested on Tuesday. Now, that historic event is going to be creating serious safety and logistical challenges for local authorities here who are preparing for the possibility of unrest.
In a Truth Social post on Saturday, former President Donald Trump said he expects to be arrested on Tuesday.
I think it's not speculation. It's something that we're hearing. He needs to get ahead of it.
While there's no official word yet from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, grand jury proceedings are nearing the end, with the last-minute witness set to testify Monday at the request of Trump's legal team, according to a source familiar with the investigation.
This would be historically groundbreaking moves for a misdemeanor to try and bring it up to a charge where you're arraigning a former president.
Trump is being investigated for his role in an alleged hush money scheme involving payments made in 2016 by his then attorney Michael Cohen to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. An indictment would be a historic first and could make Trump an even more divisive figure on the campaign trail.
It does drastically change the paradigm as we go into the 24 election.
Echoing his calls for action after the 2020 election, Trump told his social media followers to, quote, protest and take our nation back.
If what this to happen, we want calmness out there.
Federal, state, and local authorities now preparing for the possibility of unrest.
We're always monitoring the situation here as best we can, and we obviously don't want to see any activity grow violent.
Now, while the prospect of a presidential arrest and an indictment of a former U.S. president would certainly be historic, it would not be that different from any other arrest from anyone here in New York. Former President Trump is expected to surrender to the authorities. He would be booked and processed. He would be fingerprinted. A mugshot would be taken. And then we believe that he would be released on his own recognizance. The Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, in a memo to his staff over the weekend, speaking to concerns about safety, saying he is working with local law enforcement to ensure everything goes as planned. Reporting from Lower Manhattan, Gloria Pasmino, back to you.
Markets remain on edge after the second and third largest bank failure in U.S. history happened earlier this month. But the tension may soon be easing as a global effort to address the turmoil is underway. John Lornick reports.
Hours after UBS, Switzerland's largest bank, agreed to accumulate the ailing Credit Suisse in an emergency buyout,
the takeover of Credit Suisse by UBS is the best solution for restoring the confidence that has been lacking in financial markets recently.
The Federal Reserve and other global central banks announced a coordinated effort they say will, quote, enhance the provision of liquidity via the standing U.S. dollar liquidity swap line arrangements. In layman's terms, they want to keep credit available for households and businesses. But some analysts still have concerns and questions.
What happens to the rest of sort of these regional mid-sized banks in the United States? Are they going to face outflows this week? Are people going to be nervous about banks who are sitting on a lot of unrealized losses or banks who have a lot of uninsured depositors?
Goldman Sachs says there's a 35% chance of the U.S. entering a recession within the next year due to these banking problems. That's a 10% hike since the start of the crisis.
We don't know what's going to happen. We do know that financial instability threatens what has been a very strong economic recovery, and for that reason, we need to act forcefully and with clear communication to prevent any contagion in our financial sector.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
When we come back, we'll give you the sports update from last week with Emma Deason. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn News Leader.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Emma Deason here with your quick fix of Auburn sports, and it was a big week. Auburn Gymnastics competed in the SEC Championship this weekend in Duluth, Georgia. The number 12 Tigers finished 5th overall in the tournament with a 197.1, the second highest score earned at the conference meet in program history. But it was Cassie Stevens who shines. The senior won a share of the vault title and recorded a season-high 39.35 in the all-around. In basketball news, the women are currently in the second round of the WNIT tournament. Here's a quick look at the Tigers against Tulane this past Friday before they take on Clemson tonight.
The Auburn women's basketball team hosted the Tulane Green Wave in the first round of the NIT tournament. Auburn came into this game with a record of 16-14. Auburn scored early and Tulane hit a three to tie it up. After that, it was all Auburn. The Tigers would lead for the rest of the game. They would completely dominate and outscore the Green Wave 21-11 in the first quarter and 23-18 in the second. They would go into the half up 44-29. Tulane picked up the tempo out of the locker room and scored 29 points in the second half. It did not matter as Auburn would win 73-58 and advance to the next round against Clemson. Auburn had multiple notable performances. Honesty Scott Grayson had a great game with 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 steals. Carissa Richardson had a great game with 16 points and 6 rebounds. And Sydney Shaw had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. The team had a 44.8 field goal make percentage. The Tigers will face off against Clemson on Monday at 6 p.m. Central.
Unfortunately for the men, their season has officially ended. The boys cruised past Iowa in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but free throw trouble in the round of 32 ended in an 81-64 loss to Houston. That is all we have for you tonight, and make sure to stay up to date with all things Auburn sports by visiting our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and by following our Twitter at EETV_sports. I'm Emma Deason, and we'll be right back.
It's been around for 100 years, but Boston's oldest Irish pub has no shortage of customers on St. Patrick's Day. Tiffany Chan reports.
About a half mile from the Boston St. Patrick's Day parade route sits J.J. Foley's Cafe.
The oldest Irish pub in Boston, and we've been coming here for about 10 years now.
The oldest Irish pub in Boston that opened its doors in 1909 in the South End. A family business going on 4 generations and counting.
That's my father's station wagon.
Had that same wagon.
So that's probably going back to the late 70s, early 80s.
But it was Michael Foley's great-grandfather who started the pub that's attracted the likes of celebrities, politicians, and folks from all walks of life.
So you've had cops, robbers, politicians, athletes.
You will see ambassadors and mayors and all sorts of walks of life at J.J. Foley's, but no egos, that's for sure.
The rich history makes J.J. Foley's a popular spot on St. Patrick's Day, and not just for the beer.
This is corned beef and cabbage, potatoes, carrots, Guinness. A grand Irish meal.
That's pretty awesome, yeah. They make a perfect pint.
They pour a Guinness way better than me, that's for sure.
And then right down, let go, let go, let go. Oh!
Is that good? The neighborhood has changed over the years. The residents have gotten younger and more bars have popped up, like Lincoln Tavern on West Broadway.
So we're going to be busy all weekend long, starting right now, all the way up through tomorrow, and obviously through the parade on Sunday. We'll probably have a line down the street all day.
But what sets J.J. Foley's apart from the other Irish pubs is the dynamic behind the bar.
I think the family has a lot to do with it. You know, at any given time, one of the Foley boys will be here. You'll see it's very old school. White shirts and ties.
Because one of us is always here. Whether it's myself, one of my brothers, my father, even my own kids work here now.
A family business with 100 plus years of history in this building.
And if walls could talk.
Extrapolations estimate what will happen if current trends continue. A new star-studded streaming series by the name does just that, looking at the planet, the climate, and how we deal with both. David Daniel has a look.
I, for once, would love to wake up magically in a better world.
What makes you think the world's going to get better?
Extrapolations explores life on Earth in the not-so-distant future.
This is not the life that I envisioned it to be. A man whose house is on fire is incredibly easy to negotiate with.
It's a cautionary tale, like we do know this is coming, and if we choose to not do something about it, what could happen?
The series creators consulted with experts in crafting the conditions depicted over several decades.
What we're going to encounter in the next 50 years if things do or do not change.
As long as our basic needs are guaranteed.
Can you elaborate on the term basic needs? Unlimited refuge in Europe.
Water. Water.
They're trying to do good deeds to make the world better, but nobody's perfect.
Are you happy now? Are we bad people?
The stories are so personal and honest and human. The interactions are human. We just don't ignore the situation of the world. We're just not pretending that climate change doesn't exist.
I felt huge privilege to be part of it, to be an actor who is not an activist, who's getting to tell stories and to share these stories that are so important.
It gets to a basic point, which is when you choose this moment over the future, what is the cost of that?
Stop being angry about the past. The future is now.
This story is a gift to people who care about what we're living as a shared planet and a shared species.
We cannot give up and go home for one simple reason.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We dare you to try and say Bubbles in an angry voice. Can't do it, huh? That's because of our new pet of the week. Bubbles is the most perfect little angel, and she would love to find her new forever home soon. She's been with us for 263 days and still hasn't found her perfect person yet. Bubbles enjoys playing with her doggy friend and is the perfect combination of playful and calm. She's 3 years old, spayed, vaccinated, and microchipped. She's also already been heartworm treated, and her adoption fee is $25. Apply online for her today. We're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Maddie Larkin.
And I'm Abby Payne. Thank you for watching, and War Eagle.